Okay, we are in Chapter 3, Writing a Complex Narrative, or Narrative Writing and Language Conventions is the whole title. And then I'm in the subsection Writing a Complex Narrative. The end of this chapter is an essay about mistakes were made. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're writing a narrative. A narrative is a story. So we're going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's going to be about this prompt right here. Okay? Although even U.S. presidents have used the blame-deflecting phrase, mistakes were made, experts say taking responsibility for your mistakes is the only way to start learning from them. Tell a story about someone accepting responsibility for a mistake and about the lesson learned from the error. Here's your key. Someone. Not you. Doesn't have to be you. It can be you, but it doesn't have to be you. It has to be about someone. Now, let's come over here to this document and let's start planning. I'm gonna go through an essay without writing the whole essay, but I'm going to show you steps. So, what are our requirements? There has to be a story. Okay. Beginning, middle, end. There have to be characters. At least two. Oh, that's not how you spell characters. That's caricators. Okay, there has to be dialogue. You'll find that in the requirements if you read through. Dialogue. People talking. There has to be some description. For the reader's imagination. Okay. And let's look at elements of the story. Story has to be about mistakes being made, or a mistake being made. The main character, you want the main character to suffer consequences. They have to own up to their mistakes. Own up to their mistake, like admit wrongdoing. And the mistake could be a genuine accident, or it could be because the person was stubborn or prideful or some sort of character flaw. And then finally, they have to learn from the mistake. Now, as you can see, this all centers around the mistake. So the first thing you have to do is decide what mistake the character is going to make. And a lot of people, when they write this, they go to like death. Like the character does something that caused somebody to die. We don't want the stakes to be that high. This is going to be kind of a low stakes kind of game. Like the thing that's on the line should be real and tangible, but not as important as life itself. So, say they're going to lose a scholarship, or they're going to get expelled from school, or they're going to lose a friendship. Something real, something tangible, but not too over the top. So let's see. Let's think about what the mistake should be. Well, first, let's see. What age of person am I looking for? Do I want a high school person, a college person, uh, a grown adult in the workforce? I'm leaning towards a grown adult in the workforce for mine. What the mistake should be. So let's say that there's a man named Gary, who's what? Let's say 35. works in retail, so he's a manager. What the mistake should be. So Gary, if he's 35 and he works in retail as a manager, then his mistake, how about this? His mistake is something related to the job, and he's not taking responsibility for it, so one of the people underneath him is going to get fired by his regional manager, right? So, what's the mistake? He does bad inventory, and they end up missing something significant, like $5,000. Okay, Gary, 35, works in retail. So Gary does inventory badly. Loses the store $5,000. Okay, so let's, just for the sake of this, let's go with a 5-paragraph style. For yours, you don't have to. It could be much longer, but just for the sake of planning, we'll call it paragraph 1 is the intro. Paragraph 2 is what was supposed to happen. Paragraph 3 is the mistake. Paragraph 4 is the consequences. And then paragraph 5 is the own up and the lesson. Okay, so we'll go intro. Gary is a hard worker and was made manager of his store. And then when we, if I went and actually wrote the essay, I could fluff that out more. I could have more detail. I could describe what he physically looks like. That'd be good. What was supposed to happen? Let's see. It was the first time he had done whole store inventory by himself. He'd been with his district manager all the other times. He confidently turned in the report, and it was missing $5,000 worth of product. All the product was from, let's call this a Walmart. No, Walmart's too big. Walmart's too big. Clothing store. All the product was from a single department. men's sport. So his, what do you call that person? Department leader? Department manager? We'll say department leader. Leader was getting blamed. Consequences. The regional manager is about to fire the department leader. Let's call her Haley. Regional manager is about to fire the department leader. And Gary talks with him. That's where you get your dialogue, because you need, remember we said we needed an instance of dialogue, so we'll get the two of them talk. The two of them talk. Gary goes back and realizes he missed an entire shelf worth of product. Gary admits his mistake, gets a write-up, but keeps his job, and his subordinates, that is the people below him, respect him, respect him all the more because he showed character. Alright, how about that? See that? Now it's pretty easy for me to come up with a story that quickly. I've been doing this for a while, but it shouldn't be too terribly hard for you either. So that's the essay. It needs to be a story. It does not have to be about you. Mistakes have to be made. The character has to suffer some consequences. They have to own up to their mistake, and they have to learn from the mistake. There have to be at least two characters. There can be more. You have to have one instance of people talking and one good description for the imagination. Okay, that is going to do it for Chapter 3, and I'll see you in Chapter 4.